What's going on, guys? Um, Wanted to jump on here and talk about a little thing called flow. Um, you know, for a long time, after I stopped my sales agency and I was like looking for the next thing that I was jumping into, it was always like, I'm not feeling in flow, so I'm not really going to start researching or looking for the next business to start or the next creative project. I need to wait until I feel good to dive into the next thing. And eventually, when I found music, and then when I started a few consulting jobs on the side, it was always, yeah, I'm not going to work um, right now because I'm feeling a bit stuck. I'm feeling a bit heavy. I'm feeling a bit tired. I'm going to wait until I'm like high vibe and I've got the flow. And what I've learned, particularly after I started doing quite a bit of training in the creative development space, in the alchemy space, it's that the flow never stops. The flow actually never stops. In those moments upon reflection, I have come to be aware that I was choosing to actually step out of the flow. And there are a few triggers, there are a few main reasons why I did that. And I'm going to share them with you in this video. And yeah, if one of these triggers are you, please let me know in the comments because it was a very unconscious thing that I was doing to myself for quite a few years. So the first one was, um, when I'd stop myself from taking action, it was that I believed my idea wasn't good enough, so I would, or my work wasn't good enough. If I had already started working on a project, I'd stop myself and I'd go, unconsciously, this is not good enough. All right, I'm out of flow. Don't touch it anymore. I'm out of flow. I'm not high vibe. I'm putting out shit. Wait, go sit on the rock at the beach or go meditate and do breath work or go for a coffee, go hang out with a friend. Like so I would divert this way and I would believe it. It's like, this is trash. So that must mean I'm out of flow. But what was actually happening was my unconscious was playing out a story and an assumption, which is, this is not enough. This isn't going to work. Let's set the bar at an impossible height that I'll never reach, and let's make Jordan run around in circles until he just reinforces the belief he's not enough. The work he does is not enough. So that was number one. It was a choice to step out of the flow where you know whether this was, going to achieve the end result that I had intended, I don't know. I mean, I never followed through with in this scenario, but it was still a choice to step out and not see it through. So the flow was already there. I was already creating, or I'd had something come through that wanted to be birthed in business, in music at the time. This was really big for me in music. Um, and I had chosen to step out of the flow because I was buying into my assumptions. And this is why, the creative development work is so powerful, because you start to see where you set these impossible standards for yourself to reach, and you never get started. And I'm sure you would know people in your life that have all these amazing ideas, have new ideas all the time that you speak to them, but they never take action because deep down they're operating and creating from an assumption that is, I'm not enough, right? And they don't even realize it. So they're like, I'm out of flow. It's like, no, you're choosing to be out of flow, but when you're in flow, you just you're unaware that you're defining yourself as not enough. So anyhow, that was scenario one. Scenario two. Okay, now this is a sneaky one. This is a very sneaky one. I would be creating, so this is very much when I'm in creating, or maybe I hadn't started creating like out in front of me, like in the physical, but my mind and my body really started to connect to the feeling of what I'd creating, and maybe I hadn't put it out there, but I was really getting a sense of what it was. Tension, tension, this uncomfortable space of not knowing. I spoke about this yesterday. This uncomfortable space of not knowing hits, and all of a sudden, oh, this is uncomfortable. All right, I'm out of flow. I'm not feeling good about this. The truth is, I'm actually really in flow here. Like, I'm really fucking tapped in. It's just that I'm in this space of not knowing. That's power. That's good. That's really good. But back in the day, I didn't know that. I'm like, no, I don't know. Shit. Stop, stop, stop. This is fucked up. It's like, no, man, that is juicy. It's a very juicy space to be in. And now I stay in that sucker for longer, man, especially with business and music. You know, I'm the next time I write a book, I'm gonna really apply this principle a lot more consistently. Truth be told, with the salesman and smuggler, I didn't apply this as much as I could have. But with music now, I'll hold on to songs for months. If I can feel that there's still an unknown about it, I'll hold on to it, and I won't rush that process. And sometimes it doesn't get complete, and then sometimes it does. But I remember back in the day, man, it was like a song had to be finished that day, and I would obsess about it, and I'd chase it, and I'd stay on it, and it was like it would be crippling, right? It would be crippling because I couldn't, like, the action was like this preemptive strike. I need to get you finished instead of just sitting in the unknown and going, I don't know when you're going to get finished, but I'm going to hang with the unknown. And if you do get finished, great. But if you don't, then, well, yeah, like, I know what the end result of my music is, but maybe this unknown space, maybe me sitting in it long enough might realize, well, this song needs to go this way now, and I need to let the old structures of it totally collapse and fall so that it can become the next thing. At times these days, literally, I will, like, do a drum beat, or I'll have a bass line or a melody on the piano, and I'll hang with that sucker for a while if it doesn't get done in a day. And most of the time, that song actually doesn't get finished. But when I listen to it, it inspires a song that does. Right? It's just fascinating to watch this principle at play now with music, because I really do hang and stay in this unknown. Right? It's a tricky business if you don't know, if you don't have a deep sense of knowing of what's going on. So please be aware, like, this thing of, oh no, I'm uncomfortable about it. Ah, crap. Oh, I don't know that. Don't flee. Don't flee, because then you're actually choosing to step out because you don't feel high vibe and lovely, right? The unknown. This is where it is. This is where it's at, man. And the longer you can stay here, the more powerful and the more heart based your creations are going to get. So that's number two. Number three. Okay. Now, this one is kind of what I mentioned, um, like, just then, but it's different, right? So what I just mentioned is like the unwillingness to stay in the unknown. So now what I'm going to say is, number three, you go looking for the vibe. You go doing all this stuff to go look for the vibe, to deal with the unknown. So it's like, you can be in this space where you're feeling uncomfortable about your creations, and you start doing all this yoga, you're starting to work out, you're doing everything you possibly can to feel better, to get high vibe again. But what you're actually doing is you're killing the fucking vibe. You're killing the vibe. It's, oh, well, I'm not feeling good about this now, or I'm not feeling comfortable with my creation. So let me go and hang out more at the beach. Let me do surfing. Let me, do more yoga. Let me, go and create something else. But it's like you're doing more, but you're killing the tension that's in between you and your end result, right? So, like, the second thing that I explained prior to this, it's like the tension's there, but you're avoiding the tension altogether, and you're just running from it. This is slightly different, where you're doing a lot of things to resolve the tension, but they're not actually steps that'll take you closer to where you want to be. Okay, and again, like, this is not, you feeling good about your creations is not the thing. It's not the thing. Okay. Um, so yeah, I mean, this video is a great example, guys. Like, we started at, I think I wrote the title, stop waiting for your creations. Now I'm talking about all the ways that you avoid tension, right? So it's funny how these videos change, but that's creating, right? One structure breaks, and then the next one's formed. But if you don't allow that process to happen, if you don't allow that space for you to really sit with tension and to really go, all right, there's some unknown here. I don't know exactly how this is going to play out. You won't ever get to the true end result of what you love. You won't. What has happened to me in the past is I've ended up at all of these random points that have no representation of my heart. When I was very much bought into, this isn't enough, so let me be enough through this business, through this music, and la la la. Like, I created some things that were very successful, but when you're operating from this creative structure, I ended up in all these spaces, in all these end results that were successful to the outer world, but to me and my heart, it was like, what the fuck are we doing here? This is not Jordan. This is I don't even know why I started down this route in the first place, and that is because I was resolving tension between me and my true end result, okay, that distance, and chasing and going, fuck, let me get somewhere, because I can't handle this unknown space between me and the actual truth. Okay. Alrighty, guys. I think I've shared enough there, but really, really be careful when you're telling yourself things like, I need to wait for the flow to come back. The truth is, it's you're making a choice to step out of the flow. And the three things that I've given you here, these three scenarios, these are ways that I've commonly stepped out of the flow. And it really is a choice. And if you're making it unconsciously, okay, and you're not aware of why you're doing it, then I highly suggest you reach out to me, to moi, because I will be able to tap in and take you through a very powerful process that's in the creative development modality, that'll get you a very clear read on your scenario. What we say in this work is that once you know, you can't unknow. Awareness is the start of natural transformation. All right. It takes awareness first off, and then it takes will. All right. Once you know what is sabotaging your creations, and then you know the truth of what you would actually love to create, after that, it just takes will. It just takes will to go, okay, fuck, I'm here again. Bang. I'm over here. I'm on this, right? And I'm telling you right now, it works like magic. Okay, that's what the end result of creative development is to create magic in your life, to literally bring about results that are just you, and only what you love, and that are just a true representation of your essence. And what that really does entail is getting a clear read on your unconscious message, that message that goes into your subconscious from your unconscious mind, that's like, fuck, go this way, because I can't handle where we are now. And you buy into it. And you wonder why you end up in these spots, in these end results that are just not you, right? You get a clear read on that. After that, you need to get a clear read on your heart. And once you've got that separation, right, it creates this nice space, this tension. And if you're trained, you know how to will yourself over to what's true. All right. Reach out if you are wanting to go through that process, because that's what I do with my clients. Anyhow, love you guys. Don't cut your tension, hold it, work with it, hang with it, because it's the superpower. All right. That's enough from me. Chat soon.